Hi, my name is Nikki. I'm with Divine Love and Healing, and I just wanted to make a video today. I was called to look up the word codependency. I think a lot of us are having this issue right now, and we don't understand why. Um, just to get started, the word codependency, the dictionary says it is excessive reliance on other people for approval and sense of identity. The common signs of codependency would be like taking responsibility for others' actions, worrying or carrying the burden of someone else's problems on you all the time, covering up to protect others from reaping consequences of their poor choices. Some examples would be like lying to friends or family or partner, lying to your friends and family about your partner and what's really going on. In that way, we are protecting them so they don't look bad. But you're also covering your own truth whenever you do that. Um, Another example would be like giving money to someone that you know has a problem with drugs, money, gambling, things like that. Taking them to those locations knowing they have those problems. That would be another sign of codependency. You're willing, or you're willing to give a part of yourself that you may be not really willing to, but you feel like you have to people please and you have to do it, or else they're going to be mad at you or angry. It's very unhealthy to be the codependent on both sides. So also involving your emotions for someone else's issues, um, like getting completely wrapped up in your emotions to the point that you're on the verge of crying over someone else's deal. That's not healthy. Whenever we give our energy to somebody else, we tend to deplete ourselves. And so most codependency issues stem from childhood experiences. You have to stop seeking external validation. So, how to stop it? First, take a step back and look at your situation. Understand what codependency looks like to you. Like, what does it look like in your situation? Are you, enabling somebody that shouldn't be enabled, or you giving in when you want to say no? Are you saying yes because you're afraid they're going to be mad at you, or they're afraid that you're going to you're just afraid that they're gonna act any different way than you feel like they should. So so step one would be figure it out. Write down your situation if you have to. That way you can get it in front of you. Um, Figure out where your relationship expectations are coming from. Are you always worried about what other people are going to think? Oh, if I do this, or oh, if they know you did that, then what would they say? What would they think? Um, are you putting up that perfect vision of your relationship, your reality, things that are going on in your life? Are you putting up like a mask or a facade? Are you afraid of what other people would think if they really knew the truth? So, number three would be establish boundaries. Um, Establish boundaries for yourself, especially. It's healthy and it shows respect for yourself. Not only that, it puts up a this is where you're going to have to respect me kind of move. And sometimes it's about tough love, but we have to put up our boundaries, or else we will be feeling resentment and really down on ourselves. And so ultimately, we're here to heal ourselves, not to hurt ourselves. And so, anyway, so yeah, establish the boundaries. That could be like, I'm not going to do this at this certain time, or, if someone keeps wanting to use your car or borrow money and you have it, but you really don't feel like giving it to them, say no. Say no. If they get mad, that's on them. That's their ego. And so you need to realize that it's okay to say no and very healthy to say no. So, and then resist the urge to fix, control, or save others. sorry to say this, but you can't be Captain Save-A-Ho all the time. You can't fix other people's issues. So you have to set up your boundary and realize, or I'm sorry, resist the urge uh, to fix them, and most of the time it's something that's inside us that needs fixed or that needs healing. And so if something triggers you, then look at the situation and think of the first time you ever felt that way. We hold on to the feeling, how it made us feel. Not the person, not the situation, not when it happened. It's about the way it made us feel. And so think about the last time you felt like that, or the first time you felt like that, and send love to it. And start that healing process so that way you can get out of the codependent situations. So, anyway, prioritize your growth, which means make you number one. So you can't, I always talk about filling your cup. It's true. If you were a pitcher of water and you were filling everyone else's cup up, what happens if you don't refill it? It's empty. What do you have to go on? So you have to refill yourself first. Speaking of. Good old water. So anyway, refill your cup. Take care of yourself first. Prioritize you and your growth. And your body and your soul and your sanity will thank you later. It's going to be hard at first whenever you start doing these steps, but whenever you do that, it's a step in the right direction towards respect for yourself. And you have to realize that it's not important what other people think about your life or about what's going on. It's not their business. So it's on you and how you feel. If you're happy, ultimately we have to make ourselves happy. No one else is responsible for our happiness. That means you can't be responsible for anyone else's happiness either. So, but you're responsible for your own happiness, and that's all that matters. So start putting yourself first. When you people please or when you agree with other people, you don't know how to set your boundaries. And so it's time to start learning how. Um, you don't have a sense of self. So um, your parents would, I'm sorry, your parents didn't teach you how to be yourself. Maybe as a kid you were always told that, oh, don't do that, the neighbors are going to see us, or what would they think, what would your teachers think, what would your grandparents think. That is a self-blame thing that they should not have put on you as a child, but because they did, it stuck. And so you don't have a sense of self, so it's time to start getting to know your authentic self. The first step is putting up those boundaries so that way you have space to create who you are inside, or to come up with who you are inside. And so, you needed your parents to look you in the eyes and say, I see you. I see the real you, and it's okay to be you. But most of us didn't get that. I was very lucky that I grew up in a house where I was able to express myself and be myself, to an extent, of course. I was, but, I was always taught to love everyone, and I was always taught to love each other and love ourselves. So, I'm very grateful for that. But I understand that some people didn't have that, and you didn't have your parents there to support you in the times you felt you needed it. So, what's going on, or what was going on inside you was important to you as a child, but you felt maybe that it wasn't important. So at that time, you learned as a child, you learned to value or devalue your emotional self. Um, Not to mention, you may be seeking validation from other people, and you may be toning yourself down for other people, afraid of If you were to do what you wanted to do, what would they say? You have to drop that fear. Um, think of yourself as a lighthouse. Okay. So if you were to dim your light because you're afraid of the storm, you're afraid of whatever was happening. If you dim your light, what happens to those boats that are out on the water that really needs help in getting back to shore? What happens to them? They don't see your light. And so it's telling, definitely keep your light on no matter what. Stop being afraid of, what people may say. So, those boats around you may need guidance. So the only way to come or for them to get to shore is through you. And so shine your light bright regardless of what other people may think. So, um, a very good self-awareness tool that you can use to find out if you are being codependent or if you are having those type of experiences is ask yourself every situation is, am I doing this for someone else? Or like, am I seeking validation from someone else? Or am I doing it because I'm showing up more authentically? So whenever your husband's about to get home and you rush up and you clean a whole bunch of stuff, is it because you thoroughly enjoy the house being clean when your husband's home? Or is it because you're seeking validation from them for, or not just husband, but partner or whatever? I'm sorry. But you're seeking validation from them to be like, oh, you did a good job. I'm glad that you did that, blah, blah, blah. But it's not going to happen most of the time. Most of the time, they're so tired from work, they didn't even get 2 seconds in the house. You can't expect validation. So do things for yourself. Do things because you enjoy them. You know, another situation would be like if you have an 18-year-old kid who has their license and you're still driving your kid from home to school in the morning when they could just get on the bus and you're rushing around in your stuff and the things you have to do. Are you doing that because you are afraid that your kid's going to be mad, or like you're scared that your kid's going to get mad at you, or that they're not going to talk to you, or they're not going to, or what would the other mom say if they knew your kid was riding the bus? They be getting to school. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter what they think about you. So in every situation, start asking yourself, um, are you doing it for other people's validation? Or are you doing because you enjoy it? And that will start telling you if you're codependent or have the codependency issues. Um, you know, uh, let's see. Sorry, I wrote all this stuff down so I'd have it to say. So, stop worrying if the other parents are going to think you're a bad mom because you're a good mom. So, take care of yourself. Just remember, if you're, or remind yourself, if you're doing things for the right reason, are you doing it to people please? Are you being nice to people when at home you're like, oh, I just hate people, I just don't want them to be around? Are you being nice to them in public because you have to? I'm not saying don't be nice, but I'm saying, that's self-seeking validation. And so it's time to stop seeking external validation and only seek validation from yourself and your higher spirit. So, living your true, authentic self is the only way to true happiness. Namaste. Love and light. I hope this helps.